This is something with y'all. I know, it took me, that's it. Yay, Cindy. You fine?
Yes, no, you're on.
You're on. Are we, do we have to wait or we don't?
No, no, yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, July the 4th, and we are at a Program and Policy Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is 5:34. I'm going to go ahead and take roll call. Jackie Levin Ramos, absent. Erica Benavides Garcia, here. Cindy Liendo.
Here.
Mercurio Martinez Jr., absent. Okay, we'd like to move on to number 3, Laredo College Employee Handbook. Ms. Veronica Cárdenas. Ms. Cárdenas?
Good afternoon. Veronica Cárdenas, Executive Director of Human Resources. And we would like to inform the committee that we are working on an employee handbook, and currently it's in draft mode. We are going to propose this to be for the 2024-2025. We currently do not have a handbook, so this would be the first time in many years that an employee handbook exists here for the college. And this information, I don't know if you received a copy of the employee handbook via electronic.
Yes.
If you did, okay, great. So it's the table of contents really will include college information. Thank you. College information. It'll talk everything about the employment here at the college. It'll talk about compensation and payroll, and everything having to do with conduct, retirement, and so general job information, including like hours of operation, dress code, and those things that we actually do need for employees to all be on the same page and understand the what the expectations are for our employees. So our plan, this is about 100 pages or so that we are putting this together. It has been reviewed in collaboration with the different departments in these different areas that like physical plant, the safety office, campus police, marketing, and of course with input from the executive team and definitely Dr. Minita and her support on this employee handbook. And so we wanted to let you all know that this is currently in draft mode. We are getting it reviewed, and it's already been approved by legal with all the policies and the procedures that pertain to those policies in conjunction with our manual of policy. And this, our plan is to update this every year to make sure that we abide by the TASB policies that get proposed every year, and any um, uh, federal change, state law, and any local policy that we have, or anything that else new that we need for the institution will be placed on this handbook. So this will not be a one-time, here it is, and forget about it.
It'll be like a living.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When do you think that this handbook will be ready?
Our goal is to launch it. The academic year starts August the 12th, so we will be launching it sometime in August.
Understand?
No questions. Thank you. Thank you.
The idea,
Go ahead.
the idea is for us to have this online for all employees to have access to it. But as you all know, after every legislative session, there are numerous changes that affect us. And so having the flexibility to go in and make corrections and adjustments as the updates are made based either on state law or recommendation by TASB. And it's just for notification for you all. We're finalizing, some of the departments are making final tweaks on this. And so hopefully on the bottom of every page, it'll say last revised, and it'll have a date. And then that way you all, I mean, everybody can have access to that electronically at all times. It'll include process or procedure for grievances or changes to the way we do certain things on complaints or student complaints against an employee or vice versa. And so all of this should help the process along, and actually have available to employees all the time information they need.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
you.
Number 4, approve modifications to Laredo College Board Policy, DMB Local, termination of employment, tenure, Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina.
Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. I think Rusty is going to provide a little introduction as far as why there has to be developments or the modifications that we're presenting.
Okay.
If I can, Madam Chair and committee members, Dr. Ramirez, this is a tenure termination policy. The Laredo College has had the existing policy in its policy manual for years, decades. It's an important policy because when you consider terminating someone who's tenured, you have a property right that's at stake, and you have to provide due process. And due process it's a constitutional legal concept. You find it in the U.S. Constitution, the Texas Constitution, and our legal policies cite cases that address it. But basically, it's giving the tenured faculty member notice in some detail of the allegations that involve the reasons for termination, and then an opportunity to be heard. So this incorporates some of the changes from Senate Bill 18 that have been codified in state law. And essentially what you end up having is potentially a two-step process. A summary dismissal can be done of a tenured faculty member on the administrative level. And if that is not to the employee's satisfaction, then it could be appealed to the board, where the due process hearing would be held. There would be, witnesses called and things like that. I looked at it and visited with Dr. Tijerina about it, and it satisfies those due process requirements.
No questions. Thank you.
Good, Dr. Ramirez. Thank you.
Okay. So no questions, we're good.
Yeah, I think Dr. Tijerina was going to talk about some of the details of it.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea to take a look at it. Yeah.
I'll make it really short. Basically, we identified definitions as to what entails an unsatisfactory performance, which that you'll find at the top of page 1, and then the serious misconduct. The serious misconduct are literally a copy and paste of Senate Bill 18, where it's a serious misconduct that is leading to that summary dismissal that Rusty just talked about. And so to avoid 2 different processes, we're having one major process, which is where they would go up with an administrator go through that process. And then, of course, if they want to appeal, then the hearing now will be to the Board of Trustees, right? Before, the way it would work is that the hearing would take place by a faculty peer committee that the president would assign. And then from there, that hearing would then happen. And then if they want to appeal that, then it would go to the board. So we're pretty much eliminating that hearing process of the faculty peer because, again, the law has changed.
Okay.
That's it,
That's-
pretty much.
That's it?
Mhm.
That's good, okay. Thank you. Moving on to number 5, approve modifications to the following Laredo College board policies. DGA local, employee rights and privileges, freedom of association. DGC local, employee rights and privileges, employee expression and use of college facilities. DHC local, employee standards of conduct, employee solicitations. FI local, student solicitations. FKC local, student activities, registered student organizations. FLA local, student rights and responsibilities, student expression and use of college facilities. GD local, community expression and use of college facilities. And GL local, relations with businesses and the community. Dr. David Ariazola and Dr. Fred Solis.
So, Madam Chair, Dr. Ariazola is at the SACS conference and Dr. Solis is at an RNL conference. So I'm going to present the changes to these, if you don't mind. DGA local is employee rights and privileges, freedom of association. We're changing in reference there from Associate Vice President of Student Life, which that position doesn't exist, and to the Office of Student Life. Instead of it being to a person, we're changing that to affect a department that is responsible for that happening. GGC local, employee rights and privileges, employee expression and use of college facilities. We're also changing reference from Office of Strategic and External Initiatives, which no longer exists, to the Office of Compliance and Risk Management. Under DHC local, employee standards of conduct, employee solicitation, we are changing, change reference from Office of Strategic and External Initiatives to Office of Compliance and Risk Management. FI local, student solicitations, we're changing, change references from Associate Vice President of Student Life and Engagement to the Director of Student Life. And that's because student solicitations, they have to visit with a particular person to get certain permissions to do solicitations on campus. FKC local is student activities, registered student organizations. That is also changing reference from the Associate Vice President of Student Life and Engagement to the Director of Student Life, who oversees all student clubs and organizations. FLA local, student rights and responsibilities, the student expression and use of college facilities, is change reference from Associate Vice President of Student Life and Engagement to the Director of Student Life, and revise the language to persons with an apostrophe S, unlawful conduct on common outdoor area exception. The person conduct is unlawful, including but not limited to expression that is considered prohibited harassment and anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination, and that is to comply with the governor's edict. GD local, community expression and use of college facilities, is change references from Office of Strategic and External Initiatives to the Office of Event Services. GL local, relations with businesses and the community, is change of references from Senior Director of Strategic and External Initiatives, which doesn't exist, to the Public Information Officer / Television and Podcast Productions Director. That is a person now responsible for all business with the community. And those, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer them.
No, I don't have any questions. Ms. Gandol?
No.
Okay. Then, we are done.
Okay, so,
Okay, so adjournment, because really, it's, we don't.
all right, it is now, what time is it?
7:40, I'm sorry, 5:46.
Mhm.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah,
That's the quickest policy meeting
yeah,
we've had.
yeah.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see everybody tomorrow.